We are quite alone in the museum currently, and that's the perfect time to show you a bit of the exhibition, so here we go. It's all up and running now. It's taking live data from the fish warehouse plant bed. Super awesome, also works really nice, it tracks nicely. It also tracks the whole room, so even if you go like to the whole other end of the room, it still tracks you and makes little plants, and it's super fun. Maybe I can show you a bit of the room. 1 second. Here we go. That's how it looks here. And tonight will be the opening event. And just a few minutes ago, we had a last press shooting for some photographs that will be published, I think, on Friday in the newspaper. Yeah, and that's what it looks like. Awesome.
A question I often get is, how do your installations end up in a museum? And in this case, it's quite easy to answer, because the local museum had an open call for artists. They were searching 10 projects that should somehow relate to the museum's topic, in this case plants, agriculture and bread. And they were searching for installations, regular artworks, dance performances, lyrics, everything basically. And the second point they mentioned was that the project should include a group of non-artists in some form that was very open. And for me, that decision whom I wanted to include was super easy, because there is a really nice group of people at my local hackspace working with plant sensors, and that sounded like a perfect match for me.
So I arrived at the raised bed here at my hackspace at Fish Warehouse, and it's a super awesome setup. You have like two sides where they have water containers below. There's also like a moisture sensor going down the earth. It's powered by a solar panel like on top of me, and here in the middle, super nice and comfy. You can sit down, enjoy the sun, and yeah, watch the plants grow around you. And this raised bed will be the databases, the data for my installation Human-Plant Interface at Kultursaten, at the Brot and Kunstmuseum in Ulm, about bread and art and about agriculture. And so this raised bed is also connected via LoRaWAN, so that's the place where I can grab the data and use it in my visualization.
Well, I don't want to show you hours of boring coding, but I have to say the testing was quite fun. Instead I want to give you a little sneak peek behind the scenes of how a setup or a build-up for a museum installation works. And first you have to decide on what hardware you want to run your stuff. And in my case, I have an Intel NUC that's a very tiny PC with the great feature that it can wake itself after power loss. The problem with museums is that they usually cut off the complete power of the whole house in the night. And you don't want to make too much trouble to the staff that checks on the exhibition, so they don't have to manually boot up every computer and stuff. So it's nice if the device itself can wake up when it gets power. And here you can see me setting up the PC in the morning of the build-up day. I have these goggles with a little display attached, and that's extremely helpful for me, especially like in this situation where I don't really have access to internet or to a display with HDMI. So this device I can just carry around with me, and it's like a test display where I can do the minimum stuff and, for example, add a new Wi-Fi information and so on. And next on, I hop into the museum. Usually you have a person there that is helping you build the stuff up. It's often the museum technician. It was also the technician in my case, and he's a super awesome person. He already prepared the monitor for me, plugged my stuff into the power, and in this case also the press meeting was in the same afternoon. So you have some people from local newspapers doing some shots. In this case, also a person did some documentation shots for the museum, because they document all 10 projects that were chosen with the process, the build-up and the opening and so on. And also usually you will encounter some weird problems. In my case, I had to. First, the monitor did not want to really connect with my Intel PC for some reason, and after fiddling around with different HDMI ports and cables and stuff, we got it working. And the second problem is often the museums, at least here in Germany, don't have a proper Wi-Fi. In this case, they promised me they had Wi-Fi, but they only had the guest Wi-Fi with a captive portal in front, so my PC can't really automatically connect, and that actually sucks a lot, because if something goes wrong, I need to be able to remotely connect to that PC, and also for this installation, I want to get live data, so I definitely need Wi-Fi or internet. And my go-to solution is to have an LTE router on hand that I can just place next to the PC and get my own Wi-Fi if I need to. And that's the installation I ended up with. It's super fun. You might recognize the swirls, and the idea is that I get live information from the plant bed, and that influences how the swirls grow. For example, the background color here is quite blue, that shows that it's quite cold outside. And I also take the position with a little webcam and PoseNet. That's a machine learning framework for the web that can recognize poses of persons. In this case, I limited it to only one person. That's a bit easier and not so fidgety. And I grab the position, and that basically gives the start point of this digital plant to grow from. So you can influence a bit how it will start off, but the end position, for example, is influenced by the time of the day. So in the morning, the plant will grow more to the left side. In the evening, plant will grow more to the right side. And other information is also used, like the water sensors that are in the plant beds and so on. And they change a lot of different parameters. And it's super fun to play with, especially like if it's like growing out of your position. I think that's the most fun part. And yeah, I hope people enjoy maybe coming back and seeing different temperatures and different parameter variations, because it doesn't change too much, obviously. And then it's the opening day. So first, a spokesperson from the museum tells a bit about me, about the museum, about the whole project, which was called Kultursaaten, culture seeds, basically. And next, it's my turn, so I will explain how the whole installation came to life, how it works, what you can do, what you can see, what my intentions and thoughts were. And in this case, I told a lot about solarpunk, for example, which was one of the main inspirations for me. I think solarpunk is a very interesting movement about a very positive view for the future, where technology and the environment are in a very harmonic state. That resonates a lot with me. And the next turn was for Matthias. He is from Verschwörhaus, my hackspace, and the LoRaWAN group. And he also explains a bit how the sensors work, what the LoRaWAN technology is all about. Very interesting, by the way. If you have never played with that, totally do it. It's a radio technology made for sensors, or little sensor nodes. So you need super low amounts of energy to get your information into an API or into the web. So look that up. It's really fun and really nice to experiment with. And I think most big cities around Europe have their own network now. And you can just start participating. And after all the talks are done, there's usually some casual standing around. People will try out the exhibition. And it's super fun getting to know the people who are interested in art, or a bit of funky art like my generative art stuff. So if you happen to be around near Ulm in the next few weeks, check it out. It's a lot of fun, and I will also publish the source code in the next few days, so you can check that out too. I hope you enjoyed the little peek behind the scenes. And then there's one last thing I wanted to tell you. I'm super happy to announce that with the beginning of July, I'm starting a residency at 42 Heilbronn, which is a very new coding school, and they have a nice project for generative art and AI art, and I am the first artist who can do the residency. This will last for 9 months. And now I have the time and financial support to do some more crazy art. That's super awesome. I'm very thankful for that. So I'm sure I can show you a lot of cool projects in the future. If you want to know more, follow me on Twitter or Instagram, or basically every other social media platform, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye!